Hi, I'm Alex Bond. My study looked at investigating the relationship between mentalising and reading comprehension in adults. Mentalising is the ability to understand the mental states of oneself and others that underpin behaviour. Mentalising has been shown to predict reading comprehension in children, but there's been little research in adults. There are several obstacles to this. Firstly, there are few validated measures of mentalising reading comprehension for adults. Secondly, mentalising tasks are often text-based. Consequently, there are many shared task demands, such as language abilities, that need to be controlled for. In this study, our aims were to investigate the factor structure of several different measures of mentalising reading comprehension, then to assess whether individual differences in mentalising ability predicted unique variance in reading comprehension in adults when vocabulary and inference generation skills are controlled for. The director's task is to measure visuospatial mentalising used in childhood and adult studies. In this task, the participant must listen to instructions given by the director to move objects whilst bearing in mind that the director has a different perspective to their own. The benefits of using this task for studying reading comprehension are that there are fewer overlapping language task demands. Reading the mind in the eyes is a measure of mental state attribution used in clinical groups, childhood and adult studies. In this task, the participant must select the mental state word they think best describes the eyes. This task has been found to correlate with text-based mentalising tasks like the strange stories, and age effects have been found on this task which are thought to be due to an association with language development. The strange stories measures mental state reasoning and has been shown to be sensitive to individual differences in mentalising ability in clinical samples, older children and adults in lifespan studies. In this task, the participant reads a vignette describing a social scene and then answers a mental state inference question. The strange stories has been shown to predict individual differences in reading comprehension in clinical groups and children. The short story task is a measure of mental state reasoning for adults. It consists of one short story, The End of Something by Ernest Hemingway, followed by 14 items. This task was originally designed as a test of mentalising, however its format and coding system suggest it may be better described as a test of reading comprehension. To explore the validity of this task as a measure of mentalising, the mental state subsection was compared with the other three mentalising variables, and a standard reading comprehension task, the R2, was used to explore its function as a test of reading comprehension. Factor and correlation analyses do not reveal a clear relationship between a short story task and a reading comprehension task, or the short story task and the mentalising variables. Factor analyses produce two factors explaining 57% of the variance. The grouping of the first factor indicates the shared task demands between the mentalising reading comprehension measures such as language abilities. Likely the director's task is not factored with the other variables due to its reliance on ordinary processes of memory and attention. The combined set of predictive variables explain 35% of the variance of the R2 score. The mentalising variables accounted for a unique 16% of the variance in reading comprehension. The short story task was not reliably associated with other tests of mentalising or reading comprehension with overlapping task demands. Further validation of this measure is needed. Mentalising abilities, specifically the strange stories, predicted unique variance in reading comprehension in adults after controlling for vocabulary and inferencing.